Great American Bash started off hot in week 1, including a fantastic NXT Women's Championship match between Roxanne Perez and Thea Hale. Week 2 promised another great night of action, with all Ego Ethan Page defending his title against Wwenxt, and some other great matches on the card, including the one that we kicked off with Trick Williams taking on Pete Dunne. Dunne dominated Trick with technical dominance, but the former NXT champion continued to find opportunities for explosive responses. However, the Bruiserweight pulled out the win after ducking the Trick shot, hitting the bitter end. This was a welcome surprise return as Trick continues to struggle to find his focus after losing the NXT Championship. The result allows for a longer rivalry between the two and had some solid chemistry. Dunne was the ring general throughout, pushing the pace and allowing Trick his flourishes. With Dunne seemingly focused on NXT for the time being, he can add so much as a veteran to the roster and help guide young talent as well, potentially taking up the producer role that he's been seen taking up on occasions too. So yeah, on the whole, this was really good stuff and gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Definitely intrigued to see if this feud goes any further. Before we got the Women's North American title on the line between Kalani Jordan and Tatum Paxley. Paxley wore down Jordan by focusing on injuring the left leg. The Women's North American champion had to adjust to a Spanish fly and frog splash to a chain. Wendy Chu watched the match from the entrance. After it was over, she gave Paxley back her doll, only to attack her while staring down the champ. One of the toughest tests for a young rising star is learning how to make your opponents look good without losing your mystique. In that regard, Jordan has never looked better. She sold Paxley like her most dangerous challenge yet, working much of the match with a limp. She had to adjust to her offense to sell the injury and had the crowd convinced that the challenger would take the win. Of course, it's as far from Lani to lose her gold, as she's genuinely getting better with each match. By the time the reign is over, she'll definitely be one of the top women's performers in NXT. So yeah, on the whole, I thought it was another really solid match and what's been a pretty decent title reign so far, so I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. Next up on NXT, we got Ethan Page against Wwenxt. Mensah fought hard through the best shots of Ethan Page, but an Ego's edge outside, followed by a second in the ring, put away the challenger. This build for the contest should have landed it as an opener or main event. Both men competed like this was the most important clash of the night. Page let Mensah run, and the challenger delivered the best work of his career. While on site is still finding himself as a potential main event act, he's doing more than ever before. Hopefully he gets more opportunities from here. All Ego's not a top ring worker, but he is a reliable veteran in terms of maximising spotlight on others, and he did that with Mensah, so it'll be fun to see who takes him on next. But I thought, just a good little match here without too much build, so I'll give it 6 out of 10. Moving on next to Joe Hendry in action against Joe Coffey in a battle of the Joes. Hendry faced a solid challenge but was too crafty. The Scot got the hold chanted "We Believe" before hitting the standing ovation for the win. This wasn't the most involved match, but it was impressively effective. The fans' complete commitment to Hendry sold the action, and he hit every beat in riding that reaction. It felt like a main event style, competing just to please his fans. Coffey played his role well as the bruiser heel, who was simply outmatched. Once again, Hendry's fit into NXT like a hand in the glove and has become one of the main obvious benefactors of the TNA partnership. So yeah, on the whole, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Another good match here, just really building Hendry up, and it seems like he's a full-time NXT guy now, really. But moving on into Ren Sinclair taking on Kendall Gray. Sinclair showed her submission expertise, stretching out Gray to the delight of Dempsey and Bourne at ringside. Sinclair won with the right hand and a headlock driver on a night where NXT mostly avoided the usual 4-minute squashes. This match didn't live up to the overall feel of the event, but it's still an important storyline progression. The action was fine but hardly memorable. Gray hasn't shown much to stand out from the pack, and Sinclair looks a bit uncertain with a submission focus to her offense. The right moves were made for the future. Sinclair makes no call to catch screen more interesting. Dempsey's ready to potentially reclaim the Heritage Cup with a new look grip as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting going forward, but I just didn't really feel like it lived up to the rest of the event, so I'm going to give it 5 out of 10. Before it's time for Fraser and Axiom against MSK. MSK fought as hard as possible and with complete focus, but Axiom and Fraser were just a little better. Wesley fell into the golden ratio, sealing the loss. Afterwards, Wentz and Miguel tried to console Lee, but he attacked them both, laying them out as he screamed, "You left me alone." Unreal expectations can be difficult to meet, and this match was floated as a possible match of the year candidate before it even happened. It wasn't that quite good. It was still a fun contest, elevated by serious athletic tournament. Everyone competes at a high level, hardly slowing down to catch breath. It would have been a great first effort for a longer tag team feud, but the aftermath makes this a one-off dream match that could have been more with a stronger pace and story. Lee's heel turn was out of nowhere and made for a great dramatic event, but it feels like it may be too soon. The Rascals still had a story to tell together, and Lee has some serious work to do to sell himself as a heinous heel after all those years as a face. This would be a moment that's hard to judge now, but we'll see where it goes in a few weeks. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 on the whole. Could have been better, but yeah, definitely intrigued by the next direction, and a direction I didn't see coming at all. Overall, NXT gets a 7 out of 10 from me this week. I thought, another good night of Great American Bash. Some really good action in there. And some interesting questions coming out of the show as well. Not least the whole Wesley situation that we saw at the climax of the show. So, on the whole, I thought Great American Bash this year for NXT was a success. 2 very decent shows. And, definitely intrigued by the future of the brand. So that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.